Hi everybody, Johnny the Queer POTUS here. Today I'd like to show you a clip from my recent live stream on presidential dogs. In it, my co-host Conor and I discuss Richard Nixon's dog, Checkers, and how a cute story saved his campaign for vice president. If you'd like to see the entire stream, it's available now on my newest channel, POTUS Chats. POTUS Chats is where you can see all of my amazing live stream content, along with my co-host, Conor. We talk about presidents, current events, media, art, and so much more. So go ahead and head over to POTUS Chats now and click subscribe. Go ahead, I'll wait. Oh, and don't worry, I'll still be posting all my fantastic documentaries right here on the Queer POTUS channel. Next week, I'll be uploading an episode about Bill Clinton and Haiti, so you don't want to miss that one. All right, and now without further ado, here is the story of Richard Nixon and his little dog Checkers. Enjoy. Let's move to the next story that we have for today of using a dog to win over the crowd here. And let's turn to Richard Milhouse Nixon. Now, many of you know that Checkers is an important, I believe, the vice president in Futurama with Richard Nixon, the dog. But long before that, when Richard Nixon was the president of the United States in the 1960s and 70s, oh my God, I am wrong. Long before that, even long before that, when Richard Nixon was a senator on the Republican Party ticket for vice president of the United States. The president, or to say the candidate running for president, was Dwight D. Eisenhower. The year was 1952. Richard Nixon was the vice presidential candidate that year. However, something happened and candidate Nixon got himself into a bit of trouble. You see, there were accusations against candidate Nixon, I should say Senator Richard Nixon. There were accusations against Senator Nixon that he had used campaign contributions for his own personal use.
He was tricky Dick from the get-go.
Now, Dwight Eisenhower was not married to the idea of having Nixon be his vice president. He saw Nixon kind of the same way you might see Ted Cruz today. A little bit cheesy, cheesy, sleazy, and pretty skeezy.
And in no way breezy.
Right. But Nixon had what Eisenhower needed, which was the base, the Republican right-wing base. He was a real Republican. Eisenhower was just some general who had no political affiliation before he ran for president, similar to how Trump had no political affiliation before he ran for president. So he picked Mike Pence because Mike Pence had more credentials in the right wing.
And could easily calm him down.
Nixon. But he doesn't like him. And so when all this stuff happens, Ike's like, well, if I have to drop Nixon from the ticket, I have to drop Nixon. So Nixon is like, fuck no, you are not dropping me. I'm going to make sure that you don't drop me. And he gets a 30-minute spot on live television after the Merv Griffin show, during which he gives a speech recounting all of his finances, explaining why the charges against him are false. And basically, he even throws in a line about something tangentially related to an Eisenhower corruption scandal. So he's like, he even is sort of like says to Ike through the TV, like, oh, and don't forget, you're corrupt too. So if I go down,
we're both going down together.
Yeah, he did a line like that in the speech, which is really crazy. Rick Perlstein writes about it in his book, Nixonland. But the key moment of the speech, the moment that really wins over the public, and let me tell you, a lot of people watched this speech. I believe it was the most watched live television event up to that point. And it was this moment in the speech when Richard Nixon drove this motherfucker home.
That's like the only. Oh,
One
I'm
other
not going
thing
to
I
talk.
probably should tell you, because if I don't, they'll probably be saying this about me too. We did get something, a gift. After
Pause it.
the election.
Yeah.
So, as this was going on, I mean, you talk about it. You know this clip pretty well.
No. Tell me.
All I was going to say was that, up to this point, he, as you were saying, what he was doing was talking about something that he had done wrong. So he was building. Yes, I understand that this is what was going on. None of the campaign's finances were used for me personally. Let's clarify this. Let's clarify that. And then he gets to a point where he puts his hand on his face. And he's like, okay, and now I need to talk about this, with a big exhale, with a big hesitation, as if this is going to be the biggest part of the television broadcast.
Yeah, he put the audience in suspension that something bad was about to happen. And here's what he says. It's ridiculous.
One other thing I probably should tell you, because if I don't, they'll probably be saying this about me too. We did get something, a gift, after the election. A man down in Texas heard Pat on the radio mention the fact that our two youngsters would like to have a dog. And believe it or not, the day before we left on this campaign trip, we got a message from the Union Station in Baltimore saying they had a package for us. We went down to get it. You know what it was? It was a little Cocker Spaniel dog in a crate that he'd sent all the way from Texas. Black and white, spotted. And our little girl, Tricia, the 6-year-old, named it Checkers. And the kids, like all kids, love the dog. And I just want to say this right now, that regardless of what they say about it, we're going to keep it.
Just like, what an awesome fucking sidestep again. Yeah, I'm in trouble for something. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but gosh darn it, I'm a humanitarian. I care about this dog. So you can be angry at me for stealing money, and you can be angry at me for being a corrupt, shitty politician, but gosh darn it if I'm not the best dog owner there is out there. It's for the kids. You're gonna tell kids they can't be happy? Boo on you.
Yeah, it's it's similar to the Fala thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if Nixon had thought about that, because he had studied, FDR. He didn't like FDR's politics, but he admired his power, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
He studied FDR. He knew the power of evoking a dog, because it makes the other person look petty and ridiculous. You're going to hassle me over a dog? Come on. Everyone in America goes, yeah, why are you hassling him over a dog? It's just a dog. Those Democrats, So
everything before then just gets erased because all you're thinking about, he talked about his dog, though. Who cares? He didn't kill a bunch of people. He did some stuff with money. Maybe he'll spend the money on the dog.
Yeah. And of course, all of the Democrats and all the pundits and everybody and a lot of the media elites, as we call them, the liberal media elites, if you want to call them that, denounced the speech, laughed at it, made fun of it. But the more they made fun of it, the more, people felt like they were being petty. And so ultimately, Richard Nixon saved his ass with that broadcast. Actually, Eisenhower had actually said before the broadcast started that based on the reaction to the broadcast, he would decide whether or not to keep Nixon on the ticket. And the reaction was so overwhelmingly positive that Nixon remained on the ticket and became the vice president.
So if the news media found a way to not be petty about it, well, maybe it's not all on them.
Right.
But there was a chance that we wouldn't have had Tricky Dick in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And maybe not all those animal protections. He signed quite a bit of animal protections in an effort to make his name sound better because he was a really shitty guy. But we don't have time for all that.
Fascia apologia right here.